Hello, welcome back to my YouTube channel. I'm going to be showing you how to make a milk version of the popular Middle Eastern dish Knafeh. This is a recipe that is very popular with my friends and family. It's topped with pistachios and a drizzle of attar, which is a Middle Eastern sugar syrup used on a lot of desserts. It's one of the dishes that I quite often take to a barbecue or for a potluck. This recipe can be used to make dessert cups as well. Please consider subscribing to my channel so you don't miss out on any of the new content I'm putting out. For the ingredients, most of the stuff you probably already have in the cupboard. A few of the other things you'll find at a specialty store, like a Middle Eastern or Indian grocer. If you're in Australia, Coles and Woolies have rose water. This is 500 ml of full cream milk and 300 ml of thickened cream, 2 cups of cornflakes, half a cup of sugar, 1 tablespoon of orange blossom water, 2 tablespoons of rose water, and half a cup of pistachio nuts. Half a cup of semolina. Make sure it's the fine textured semolina and not the coarse one. 1/3 of a cup of sifted corn flour, just to make sure that it doesn't have any lumps in it. This recipe can be scaled up or down quite easily. I usually make a double batch of the recipe I'm sharing with you today. To start with, I'm going to crush up the pistachios into a coarse texture. I don't want it to be too fine. I need to have a mixture of bigger and smaller pieces. And I'm going to do the same thing to the cornflakes. However, with the cornflakes, it needs to be a nice smooth texture. And now I'm going to set aside the pistachios and the cornflakes as I'm going to use them soon. At this stage, I turn on my oven to preheat it at 180 degrees Celsius. Before we get into making the milk mixture, I have to prepare the baking dish first, as once the mixture gets to a certain stage, it will thicken up quite quickly and I won't have time to do this. I'm starting by pouring the 500 ml of milk into the saucepan, which is set on a medium heat. Then I'm going to pour in 300 ml of thickened cream. And I'm giving it a good mix so it's well combined. Now I'm going to add in the semolina. Only use the fine textured semolina for this dish. And also give this a good mix. Now the sugar. I stir the sugar until I see that it's fully dissolved. And the corn flour. Once the corn flour is added, then we're on a time limit as it will start thickening the mixture. 1 minute it's a water consistency and then the next minute it's a thick custard-like consistency. There's a lot of stirring involved with this recipe, but the end result is well worth the effort. If you don't have a spiral mixer like I do, then perhaps use a whisk and have a spatula on hand so you can use it to scrape down the edges and along the bottom. Making this recipe is quite a good arm workout. And you can see here that the mixture is still at a liquid consistency. And this is where I like to add 2 tablespoons of the rose water. This is the time to add it in before the mixture starts to thicken too much. Followed by 1 tablespoon of orange blossom. People tend to want to skip adding the orange blossom water. I'm not sure why that is. I find that the orange blossom water adds a depth of flavour that would be missing if you only used rose water. You can make adjustments to these additions if you find that it's too strong for you, or perhaps it's not strong enough. You have to keep mixing it until it starts to thicken. This part of the recipe requires a bit of patience because you have to keep mixing it until it starts to thicken. I love it when I get to this stage of the recipe because the rose water and orange blossom water makes my house smell amazing. And now I'm just going to continue whisking it until it gets to a light custard texture. I just continue stirring it to ensure that nothing gets stuck to the bottom of the pan. Yes, I was giving my arm a little break there. Get the whisk into all sides of the saucepan so that it's all mixing together and not sticking to the bottom and burning. And finally it's gotten to the stage where it looks like a custard consistency. And I can take it off the heat. If you're planning on making dessert cups with this Knafeh mixture, then you can skip this next part, which is the baking step. I'm pouring it immediately into the baking dish I prepared earlier. Just look at how beautiful and smooth that texture is. The next step is to cover the top with the remainder of the cornflake crumb, sprinkling it around evenly so that the top is coated. It's one of the dishes that I quite often take to a barbecue or for a potluck. Now I'm putting it into my fan forced oven, which is set at 180 degrees Celsius, which is around 350 degrees Fahrenheit. I usually cook it for about 10 minutes at this temperature and then take it out and allow it to cool for another 10 minutes. Next I'm sprinkling the pistachio nuts on top. This dessert is best served warm, however it is delicious also served cold. Make sure you drizzle some delicious sugar syrup on top of it. I like to add a bit more pistachios when I'm serving it too. I'd love to hear how you go with this recipe in the comments below. Thanks for watching and I'll see you for the next video. Please consider subscribing to my channel so you don't miss out on any of the new content that I'm going to be putting out.